Hi all, in this lecture we'll discuss about hidden Markov model. First of all, let's see what is a Markov process. A Markov process is a random process with the property that the future is independent of the past given the present. It's indexed by time. So a Markov process is any random process which is indexed by time, and it is having the property that given the present, the future is independent of the past. So from the present state, what is the next state? That probability only will be considered. That is, for example, xn is the present and xn plus 1 is the next. Then probability of xn plus 1 given probability of xn is same as probability of xn plus 1 given xn minus xn, xn minus 1, xn minus 2, etc. up to 1. That is, the xn minus 1 is depending upon only xn. It is independent of all the past items, all the past state. The complexity of the Markov process depends upon the time space and state space. Time space can be usually treated as discrete, and then discrete, it is called discrete Markov process, and if it is continuous, then continuous Markov process. So the time space, the complexity of the Markov process depends upon the time space, as time is discrete and time is continuous. And the state space also, if the states of number of states of the Markov process, if it is countable or if it is discrete, then it is of one complexity. Otherwise, if it is of general topological space, then if we may not be able to find out the number of spaces or cannot countable, then that is general topological space. So the complexity of the Markov process depends upon the time space, which can be discrete or continuous, and the state space, which is countable or any general topological space. So once again, a Markov process is a random process which is indexed by time. It's having an important property that the future of the system is independent of the past given the present. If you are given with the present state, then it is depending upon only the present, not the future. So we are mainly focusing on discrete Markov process. The components of discrete Markov process are, the first component is system and states. So it has a system and as number of state. The system can be in any one of the state at any particular time. So consider a system with three states, with these states s1, s2, s3, etc., sn, and let's say this three states s1, s2, and s3. Then at any time t, the system can be at a particular state. So if t can take values like t equal to 1, 2, 3, etc., countable values, then qt equal to si means the system is at state si at a time t. The system can be at any particular state. For example, this is a state raining, this is a state foggy, this is a state sunny. So the system can be, or the environment can be at any particular state at any particular point of time. It can be rainy, it can be this, or it can be this. So at a time t equal to some I, at a time t equal to t, the state of the system is represented as qt. So usually initial state is represented as q1, then q2, q3, etc. So at time t equal to 1, q1, at time t equal to 2, q2, etc. So that there will be an initial state, that is q1, then at any particular time t, the system is at state si. So that is system and states, a number of a particular setup that is taken as a system, and another set of states where the system can be of at any particular instant of time is called the states of the system. A second component is transition probabilities and state transition metrics. System can move from one state to another for different with some different probabilities. So for example, in this system S1 to S2, the transition can be done with the probability P12. With transition from S2 to S2 can be P22. Transition from S3 to S1 is P31, and so on. a system moves to a new state with a given probability. So that is called a transition probability. So depending on the values of the current present state, it can move to a new state. So it depends upon only the current state, means that it is independent of the past. So depending upon the values of the current state, if it can move to a new state based on a probability, that is P31. P31 is the probability that the system moves from state 3 to state 1. Probabilities are called transition probabilities, and if you group all these probability values into a matrix, it is called the state transition matrix, like this. So this is the state, this is the succeeding state. So S1 to S2 the transition probability is 0, S1 to S1 to S1. So S1 to S2 the probability is P12, S1 to S3 the transition probability is 0, and so on. So from this S1 to S1 it is 0, S1 to S2 it is P12, S1 to S3 there is no transition, so transition probability is 0. So this sort of a matrix is called the state transition matrix. So transition probabilities are nothing but the system can move from one state to another based on some probability, with some probability based on the value of current state. So for example, S3 to S1 the system can move with a probability P31 with the value so the system can move from one state to another with a probability known as transition probability, and it is represented as a matrix known as state transition matrix. Now comes the initial probabilities. Let pi I be the initial probability, means that the system can be the first state of the system can be of any one of these states. So if the first state of the system can be S1, the first state can be S2, the first state can be S3, and so on. It is represented as pi I. Pi is equal to pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, etc. pi n if you have n number of states. So what is the probability that the first state is pi 1 as S1 is pi 1? What is the probability that the first state is S2 is pi 2? What is the probability that the first state is pi n Sn is pi n? Adding all these pi i's will be 1. So initial probability is nothing but which is the first state in the sequence of states. So system moves from one state to another as a sequence from first time equal to when time t equal to 1, what is the state that the probability of that state is called the initial probability. It is represented as pi. The homogeneity property is assumed to be true for making the computation simple. Homogeneous means transition probabilities are independent of time. So Aij means represents only the probability that at time t plus 1 it is in j, at time t is equal to it is in I. So Aij is the transition probability which represents I to j transition from t to t plus 1. So at any time it is independent of time. So the transition is independent of time. At any time t to t plus 1, the transition from state I to state j is Aij. In this case it is P32, means it is it is at any time t to t plus 1 the transition from S3 to S2. So S2 to S3. So it is transition from I to j. So it is the new state is given here j, and the current state is given here. So P32 represents the A32 represents in the matrix A32 represents A32. It is represented as 2 to 3 transition. Aij should be greater than or equal to 0, and in a row if you combine all the Aij's then it will be 1. That is transition from one state to all the other states will be summation of all these things will be 1. So these are the 4 components of discrete Markov process. It contains a system and a set of states. It has transition probabilities, and these transition probabilities can be represented as a matrix known as state transition matrix. Then 2 other important things, parameters are initial probabilities and a transition matrix, which that is homogeneity property, that is transition probabilities are independent of time. Now let's look at state transition matrix a little bit detail. So state transition matrix is contains values like this: a11, a12, etc., a1n, a21, a22, etc., a2n, and so on. Summation of all these things in a row will be 1. Summation of all these things in a row will be 1. It is the transition from state I to state j, isn't it? State I to state j. A11 is state 1 to state 2. A12 is state 1 to state 2. A13 is state 1 to state 3. So it is state 1 to state 1, state 1 to state 2, state 1 to state 3, etc. So from a state S1 to any of the other states, you add all these things together, it will be a total summation of Aij will be from A1 A1j will be, for j equal to 1 to n, it will be 1. So that's the total probability from a state to any of the other states. Pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 are the initial probabilities, and these are the transition probabilities. You represent this as a matrix and represent the other one as a one-dimensional array, pi 1, pi 2, etc. What is the initial probability of state 1, state 2, state 3, etc. So a discrete Markov process will be represented by using two parameters. One is a pi and another one is a. Pi represents the initial probabilities, and a represents the transition probability matrix. Transition probability matrix has values Aij, and this Aij is defined like this. What is the probability that the state transition happens from Si to Sj? Sj given Si. Next we will see Markov chain property. Probability of a transition from next possible state is only dependent on the current state. So that is called Markov chain property. Probability of Sn given Sn minus 1, Sn minus 2, etc. S1, that is this chain of probabilities is same as probability of Sn given Sn minus 1. So it is dependent on only the previous or current state. So only dependent on the current state. For the next state n, only dependent on the current state n minus 1. It is not at all dependent on all the other future states. So that is Markov chain. It is independent of the series of states or the sequence of states preceding the current states. Next, before looking at hidden Markov model, let's see what is an observable Markov model. The discrete Markov model is also called an observable Markov model. The state of the system at any time t can be directly observed. That is what we call it, observable Markov model. So you are given with the state of the system, etc. Everything is given. Everything can be observed. So that sort of a system is called an observable Markov model. Let's say O is our sequence or arbitrary sequence of observation. Then here it is written as Q. So O is equal to Q1, Q2, Q3, etc. Qt. So this is the first state, second state, third state, etc. So at time t equal to 1, this is the state. At time t equal to 2, this is the state, and so on. So this sort of a sequence can be used to represent a Markov chain, isn't it? So this is the first state, second state, and so on. Given the transition probability matrix and initial probability pi, we can calculate the probability P of O equal to Q as P of O equal to Q is equal to P of Q1 into P of Q2 bar Q1 into P of Q3 bar Q2, and so on, P of Qt given Q of Qt minus 1. Means that this is the state of sequence of states observed, Q1, Q2, Q3, etc. Qt. So for obtaining this sequence of states out of a system, this sequence of states out of a system, you can calculate the probability. You can calculate the probability of this observation by using this probability of Q1, which is the initial probability of Q1. So you have a pi, and let's assume that you have pi and a along with you. Then this is pi 1. Then P of Q2 bar Q1. Next state is Q2 and the current state is Q1. What is the probability that next state is Q2 and the current state is, or Q2 bar Q1? Then P of Q3 bar Q2. Next state is Q3 and current state is Q2. Q2 bar Q3. Q3 bar Q2, and so on. From the transition probability matrix, you can take that directly. So it is pi Q1 or pi 1 into A12. A12 is 1 to 2 transition, a 2 3 2 to 3 transition, a t t minus 1, it is t minus 1 to, sorry, this should be written as a t minus 1 t, so it is t minus 1 to t transition. So it can be written as a summation of all these things together. So that is that is how we calculate the probability of an observation in observable Markov model or discrete Markov model. So discrete Markov model is also called an observable Markov model, where the state of the system at any time can be directly observed. Whereas in a hidden Markov model, the state of the system is given the state of this. We will see hidden Markov model after looking at with the help of an example, then it will be clear. So the state of the system at any time t can be directly observed, that is observable Markov model. Now let's say this is your observation, this is a sequence of states you observed. Then by using transition probability matrix and pi, that is initial probability, you can actually calculate the probability of this observation. What is the probability that you get an observation out of this system? Let's see an example. Consider there are 3 boxes which contains red, green and blue balls. Each contains only, the first box contains only red balls, second box contains only green balls, and the third box contains only blue balls. We are able to observe this. So that is we are able to see this boxes. Consider we have 3 states, that is S1 is red state, S2 is blue state and S3 is green state. The experiment which we are going to do here is we are going to pick one ball at a time from any one of the box. So and we use that color as the state of the system now. Okay, so let's use this transition probability matrix. That is previous state is red and the current state is red is 0.4. Previous state is red and the current state is blue is 0.3. Previous state is red and current state is green is 0.3, and so on. And this is the initial probability. So A is equal to A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. So this is the largest probability, that is the current previous state is green and the current state is or current state and next state. Initial probability is high for the red color. So let's say we have seen an observation sequence S1, S1, S3, S3. Then the probability can be calculated like this. Probability of this observation is, what is the probability that the first state is S1, that is pi 1. Then what is the probability that the second state is 1, that is A11, 1 to 1 transition. What is the probability that the transition from 1 to 3 happened, that is A13. What is the probability that 3 to 3 happened, that is A33. So it is a multiplication, you multiply all these things together, you will get the probability of this observation. So the probability of this observation given A, the matrix is given, comma pi. So these values are already given, A and pi. You are able to observe this, you are able to observe all these values and you know these values, transition probability matrix and initial probability. Then you can directly say pi 1 into A11 into A13 into A33. So from this A11 pi 1 is 0.5 into A11 is 0.4, A13 is 0.3, A33 is 0.8. So 0.5 into 0.4 into 0.3 into 0.8 equal to 0.048. So this is the probability of the observation sequence S1, S1, S3, S3. So this probability can be calculated directly. So this is an example of an observable Markov model where we are able to observe the sequence of states, and we already know the transition probability matrix and initial probability, etc. Or everything here can be directly observed. So that is your discrete Markov model. Now another case where you can actually calculate or estimate the parameters of A and pi. In the previous example you were given with parameters like probability, transition probability matrix, initial probability, etc. were given directly. Now let's see, you yourself has to find the or estimate the parameters of Markov process, that is A and pi. What you are given with is all 10 observations with sequence of length 5. These are the steps by which you calculate or you estimate the parameters. Observation 1 is S1, S2, S1, 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 S2, S1, S1, S3, S1 and so on. The same example we take in the previous case, like you have S1, S2 and S3, three states in the system. The first step is obtain k observation sequence of length t. Let qtk be the state at time t in the kth observation sequence. Okay, qtk. At time t, this is time 1, this is time 2, time 3, time 4, time 5. At time t equal to 1, t equal to 2 and so on. qtk be the state at any time kth observation sequence. Here we have 10 observation sequences, O1, O2, O3, etc. So qtk means t is this column, k is row. Initial probability can be calculated directly. Pi I is equal to number of sequences starting with Si divided by total number of sequences. So total number of sequences is 10. Number of sequences starting with 1 is S1 or S2 or S3. So sequences starting with S1 is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 by 10. Pi 2 is S2 starts with 1, 2. So it is 2 by 10. Pi 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 4 by 10. So pi 1 is 4 by 10. Number of sequences, it is starting with S1. Number of sequences starting with S2. Number of sequences starting with S3. So that is, so pi can be calculated, or initial probability can be calculated as number of sequences starting with that particular state. So that's easy. Now Aij, or a transition probability, can be calculated as number of transitions starting transitions from Si to Sj divided by number of transitions from Si. So for example, this one A11 or A12 can be taken as number of transitions from 1 to 2 divided by number of transitions from 1. So number of transitions from 1 are 1 to 2. This is a transition number 1 to 2. From 1 to 1, this is the transition. 1 to 1, this is a transition. So there is 1, 2, 3. 3 transitions here. 1 to 1, there is a transition 4. 1 to 3, there is a transition 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. S1 to S3. There are total, I have written as 19. So it is, there are 19 transitions from 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I got it as 17, I think. Here it is written as, anyway. So let's say number of transition from S1 is 19. So this is the row for S1. This is A11, A12, A13. Let's say out of 19 there are 6 transitions from 1 to 2. So this is 1 to 2, 1. Then I might have missed some. So 1 to 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is 6 transitions out of 1 to 2. So that is A12. Number of transition from Si to Sj divided by total number of transitions. So like that you can calculate all the values of A. So A11 is number of transitions from 1 to 1 divided by total number of transitions from 1. Number of transitions from 1 to 3 divided by total number of transitions from 1. So A32 is number of transitions from 3 to 2 divided by total number of transitions from 3. So total number of transitions from 3 is 10 divided by 4 by 10. So this is how you can calculate the parameters of A and pi if you are not given the parameters A and pi. If you are directly given the parameters A and pi, you can directly use it for estimating. Otherwise you need to take some sequences, some k observation sequences of the same length, and you calculate it out of this observation sequences pi and A. So by using that, now you can use this A and pi for uh, finding the probability of obtaining a particular observation sequence. Okay, so that was about discrete Markov process. Now let's look about hidden Markov model. Let's look at an example first. Consider a room in which we are divided into two equal halves, and at the center you have placed a curtain so that no one can see what is happening in the other side. At the other side, somebody is sitting and is doing some experiment. In the same experiment, that is, he is having some number of boxes with him, and this boxes has some colored balls. So by he picks one ball at a time, but at this time we don't know what is the number of boxes there. What is the previously we were able to see the all the details like. How many balls were there, sorry, how many boxes were there, each box contains what is the probability of each what is the number of colors in different boxes and all. But here we don't know what is the number of what are the different colors in the boxes. There can be multiple colors in the same box, or there can be single color in the in a box, whatever it may be. So each box has labels with different colors, and any box can contain multiple colors also. What the person the other side, what he does is he picks a ball from any one of the box, and we don't know whether the person took ball from which box also, at which he took one ball at a time and he announces the result. Let's say the color of the ball. So after getting the ball, he announces that it's a it's a red. Next it's a green. Next he took another ball from some other box and say this is a green, and this is a blue, and so on. So he announces the result of each experiment, announces the color of the ball. That's it. With that observation, also that what we have with us is the set of sequence of announcements, or the sequence of observations, or the sequence of this color. With that observation, we should be able to identify the estimate the probability of a particular sequence. So that's our idea with a hidden Markov model. The person at this side, that is the person who gets this result, he passes the result to a person A, and this result can be used by the second person, person A, by for hidden Markov model representations or predictions. So let's say this is your box 1, box 2, etc., box n. Now probability of red is B11 in this box, B21 for this box, and Bn1 for this box. We'll represent this as the probability of red obtaining from box 1 is B11. So you got it as the 1, 2, 3 up to m different types of balls here, m different types of colors, let's say. So probability of the red obtained from the probability of red here, in our previous example we were having only red balls from this box, only red ball, only blue balls here, only green balls here. So this probability was always 1, but here we have a mixture, so this also we need to use, that is the probability of red from the red in this box is B11, probability of red in the second box is B21, probability of red in the third or last box is Bn1, and so probability of green in the first box is B12, green in the second box is B22, and so on. So you have another matrix B which has B11, B21, etc., Bn1, B12, B21, etc., Bn2, and up to our n into m matrix you have. So that actually gives you the mixture probability. So person A is using a hidden Markov process on this observation. What the person B passes to person A is the set of observations or the result of his experiment. That is, he announces the result, only the colors. So person A observed that there are n large boxes. Let's say you have some n boxes. Each box has some colored balls. We don't know what is the mixture, and there are m distinct colors. Let's assume that you have n boxes and m distinct colors. This is just an assumption. So person B, what he does is, according to a random process, he choose an initial box. So there will be there should be an initial probability here. So initial box will be taken and a ball is chosen from the random box, from this box, and then announces the color. Now the process is repeated. The process is repeated. So that's the operation here. The person A is going to use a hidden Markov process on this observation. So there are some key entities here. The n is the number of states or number of boxes. Let's say the selection of the box. Here, instead of colors as states, we should use the number of boxes as the states, because the colors are mixed here. So the number of states, you are in which box, that is the state here, the state of the process, or n is the number of states. Color of the ball is the observation, that is what we observed, that is what the person announces. There are m observation symbols. A is the transition probability, that is just like our previous example, the random selection associated with the current box. That is the transition from one box to the other, that is S1 to S2, S1 to S1, S1 to S3, and so on. That sort of probability is the transition probability. Now we have another probability here, which is normally called as emission probability, which is the probability with what probability the person chooses. That is, this probability is called the emission probability here, emission probability, and we have initial probability also. So we have 5 entities. So a hidden Markov model can be defined as a statistical model in which the system being modeled is assumed to be a Markov process or a memoryless process, which is defined as the future and past are independent. The future is dependent only on the present state. There are some hidden states, that is the difference from the observable Markov model. It has a set of states, each of which is having some limited number of transitions. Each transition between states has assigned a probability that can be obtained from the transition probability matrix. Each model starts from a start state with that initial probability. So an HMM or hidden Markov model is characterized by n number of hidden states. We don't know what is the number of states. M number of distinct observations. These observations are obtained from your observation sequence. And Aij is the transition probability, and Bij is the emission probability distribution. So you have two transition probability distribution here. One is a state transition matrix, and the other one is a emission probability distribution. And you have an initial probability, that is pi I. What is the probability that the initial state is S1, initial state is S2, and so on. Usually a hidden Markov model is characterized by a parameter set which is A, B, and pi. Aij, Bjk, and pi, which is the transition probability, then emission probability, and the initial probability. So we'll see about hidden Markov model, more details about hidden Markov model in the next lecture. Thank you.